everyone, it's Nick Valenti with NJ Valenti Art, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the vector warp tool in Affinity. Hello, welcome to the stream. So today I figured what we'll go ahead and do is I wanted to create a haunted house for Halloween. So I'm going to do a step-by-step kind of a follow along, so you always kind of be able to come back to the video and watch it later. I'll have it up on YouTube if you're watching on Twitch. But yeah, we'll do a haunted house just in time for Halloween. We did the jack-o'-lantern a few days ago, and that was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't seen that video, that is up on YouTube. But we'll go ahead and we'll jump right in. I'm in the designer persona. Now, what we can do is, if you'd like to work on, you can either follow along here with me directly, or if you want, you can always hop in the pixel persona and work up a sketch. So say we wanted to sketch out some ideas before we got started on the haunted house. We come over here to pixel persona. We'll select our brush. I like to use the natural pencil 4B, and we've got our black color selected there. So I'm thinking of like a haunted house on a hill. So it's never a bad idea to work out your ideas beforehand, to do a quick little sketch of them. And like this sketch will be a little bit looser than some of the other sketches we've done. This I'm just kind of looking for a basic guide, and then I'll go in and I'll kind of create the shapes as we work our way along. I don't want to use any like real straight lines. I really want this to be like almost whimsical. So I don't want to use any straight lines. I'll have little windows there. And then you can have some fences. You want them to be all kind of broken and not set up real well. So we could just kind of zigzag those boards around a bit. And then we'll probably end up having some trees with some scraggly branches. I tend to like to work from the outside part of the branch to the actual tree. Then we'll have a moon up here as well. We can have, I mean, you could put the, I typically put the moon in the upper right just because it's kind of a spot I like. But we really can place that anywhere. So I'm going to play around with, I mean, we could always have a big giant moon. Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe we'll have a big giant moon. And we could do some craters in the moon. Make it extra spooky. And this is just to kind of give us a general idea, a general direction we can kind of work in. Um, Maybe we want a couple of trees in the back. And then we kind of do something like that, and then this will kind of be in shadow. So you could do something like this. You know, you kind of work out your idea, do a quick sketch of it beforehand. You can certainly get much more detailed with it if you'd like. This was kind of already something I had in my head, so I actually did a sketch on paper beforehand. So it's up to you how you kind of want to work. I'm going to hop back over to Designer Persona, and we'll kind of start laying in some shapes. I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and we'll start by creating a background. I'm going to turn off the strokes. I don't need the stroke on that. I'm going to drag it below the sketch so we can kind of keep our sketch there. I am going to grab the gradient tool, and I'm just going to drag just straight down for right now, just to get the gradient set up. So it starts with gray, and we'll just go to a darker gray. And now here I'm going to open up our gradient window. I'm going to start playing around with the colors a bit. So this circle, this node here is selected. We'll come down to the color window. I'm going to make it a very, very light blue. I'm going to come over here to this circle. Actually, what I want to do is, in this window, I want to go ahead and create another gradient point there. I'll select that color window, and then this one will turn to a darker purple. And for the very last one, I want to mess around with what it would look like if we've got a little bit of orange in there. So, and then I also want to select radial. Let's try this real quick. So the moon is going to be the main light source, so I want that to be where that light blue is mainly. And I want to sneak this up just a little bit. All of this is going to be covered. Like, we're going to put another shape here that's going to cover it, but I want just a little bit of that orange peeking out. So something kind of like this I'm liking so far. And for this landscape tutorial here, this color palette and this image and all of this will be available on my Patreon page after the fact. So we got our basic background there, a nice little gradient. We're going to select the ellipse tool, and I'm going to create this large rectangle down here. I want to manipulate the shape. Just pull it up just a bit. I'm going to hold Control. I'm going to bring these edges in just a hair, just to about matches our sketch there. Something else I could do is I can go ahead with the move tool. I can select both of these shapes, and I can align center just to make sure everything is perfectly aligned there. Just drag that shape out a bit. For this, I'm going to come up to our gradient window. Let's just see what happens if we, I'm going to go ahead and reverse that back. I'm going to get rid of the orange. I'm going to make that a darker purple. And this one here, I'm going to come in and change this purple to more of a blue. And now I also want to change to a linear. Alright, so that gradient selected, we're going to come up. We could try the radial again. Let's see if... stick with linear, and I want to make this whole thing darker. So I'm going to select this light blue. I'm going to darken this up as well. I'm going to grab my pen tool. I'm going to make this little path here. can move those two nodes around just a bit. I want them line up with the door just a bit better. Try to select, we'll use this gradient for now. I'm going to grab this gradient and I'm just going to remove. Actually, we're just going to change this color to a nice purplish gray. I'm going to start adding, work on the building just a bit. So a nice deep dark desaturated purple here. So I want to create the main square. I want to convert to curves. And right here, it's automatically, once you convert to curves, it'll select the node tool for you. So I'm going to grab about the center here and pull in. I'm going to do the same on this side. I'm going to create another rectangle. This one I'm going to convert to curves as well, but what I want to do is I'm going to grab the move tool, I'm going to select both of these shapes, and I want to align them. Now I'm going to select my node tool, A, and this I'm going to pull back. I'm going to hold shift to keep it in line. I'm going to pull it back there, and I'll hold shift on this one and move that back there as well, just to about where it's just about at that line. And then I'm going to grab the center here and pull in. And I'll grab the center on this side as well and pull in. Or if I want this to be a slightly lighter color, make that a lighter purple. This one I do want to come over to FX. I'm going to come down to outer shadow. I'm going to bump the opacity up, the radius up, and then the offset. The offset is how far away that is. I'm going to put this straight down. So let's go ahead and get rid of that outer shadow. And what we'll go ahead and do instead is we'll go ahead and create another rectangle. And we're going to pull it into our first rectangle shape. I'm going to select a lighter purple gray. I'm going to set this to multiply. So this will kind of create the shadow. Now back up here, what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab the vector brush tool. On a darker purple, and I want to add just some shingles almost. So for that stroke, I want to go ahead and actually with controller, we're going to come up here to controller at the top and set that to pressure. So that way if I press lightly, it'll be thinner, and then the harder I press, the thicker it gets. If it's in the middle, it'll be straight up and down. And then these will kind of then go in the other direction. What we can do is we can select the other curves and then just Alt and shift them over. We'll flip them horizontal. Gotta go over more. There we go. I'm going to select all of them and bring them into this top little roof shape. And then we can add a few more. Now these, I don't want them to be all in the same spot. So something kind of like this. I'm going to try using the segment tool. I'm going to come in here, I want to select a darker purple. Let's get a darker purple here and get rid of that line there. So I'm going to duplicate this and drag that both segments into each other. I'm going to hold Control and Shift and downsize this one just ever so slightly. And then hold Shift and drag it down to the bottom. Now if I hold Shift, I can make a straight line. I need to have a color first. So we'll just select this lighter purple, because then I'm going to go ahead and just change the layer mode. So I'll select all those segments, we'll go to multiply, we'll drag them into this door shape. That a bit darker in this shape here. Come back into our shapes here. Let's take a look. I want to make like a if we take the donut tool, I'm going to create a like knocker for the door. A little bit smaller. And then maybe just 1 second. So I want to go ahead and with that donut tool selected, I'm going to make this just a little bit thinner. And then I'm going to grab the rounded rectangle tool. I'm going to create a rectangle there and another one here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 3 shapes. I want to make sure that they're aligned. I don't need any sort of stroke on them. I'll make them almost black, but not quite. I'm actually going to combine these shapes. I'm going to add them together, and then I'm going to add an outer shadow. So I'll up the opacity on the outer shadow, the radius, and the offset. The offset is how far away that shadow will be, and I'm going to pull it straight down. And now the shape, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab the gradient tool, and I'm going to pull straight down. I'm also going to come in here, I'm going to grab these curves, and I'm going to lower the stroke on them. I'm going to make them smaller. I don't want it to be quite as noticeable. And then with the move tool, I'm just going to move a couple around a little bit. I don't like the way this one here ends right in the middle of that. That kind of creates a bit of a tangent. I'm not a big fan of that. That will move up as well. Actually, this one will move over. We don't want it right in the center. Kind of throws it off. This isn't supposed to be symmetrical here. This will bring another one up here. Okay, something kind of just like that. So that's our door. I want to add a gradient here as well, so I'll come back, I'll grab the gradient tool. I'm actually going to push the gradient up this time. Because essentially the light would be kind of wrapping around the house. It would be coming and bouncing off of the ground here and coming back up to the bottom of the house, so we would get some light in there. Let's see. Let's change the lightest purple. Just bring it towards blue just a hair. Just a hair. We want a blue tint in there. It's about there. I'm going to add a gradient to this roof as well, but I want to change this dark purple. Ever so slightly red, just to give it a little more color variation. Oops, just Control-Z that. Come here and look at the swatches. I want to try something on this one. Let's try adding the same purple. Alright, let's try to reverse that a bit. So let's change this color here and make this ever so slightly more blue. Oops, Control-Z that. We'll go back down here. Let's make this purple just a little darker. There you go, just something like that. This shadow rectangle here, I'm going to duplicate it. This bottom one I'm going to drag down further. I'm going to come to Quick Effects, click on Gaussian Blur. I'm going to blur this one out pretty good. Like that. Now what I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to come back into our shape tool. And I'm going to select the segment tool again. Hope everybody's having an awesome Monday so far and a good start to your week. Halloween is Thursday. I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and now I've lost some information to my sketch here, so we could always you know, group these layers, turn them off, take a look at the sketch and whatnot, but I do have a hand-drawn sketch I have off to the side, so that helps. But this we want to go ahead and now one nice bright yellow. I'm going to add a gradient. That yellow, that bright yellow there, I want to make that a little bit more orange. Something like that. So I want a light, almost white, going out to this orange. I'm going to grab the pen tool, I'm going to come in here and we're going to start over here, and then we're kind of just going to create a little edge to this window almost. I'll come down here. I'm going to drag that into the window section. I don't want it to be purple. I'm going to grab that. I'll make it a little red because it'd be pretty much that yellow is interacting with the purple of the house. So it would kind of create this orangish red kind of color there. I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'm going to create a thin rectangle here, which I will make that really dark purple. And then one thin rectangle across as well. And what we'll go ahead and do is I'm going to pull the shape up just a bit. So that's that window there, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another rectangle, pull it on the outside. Oh, we don't need this, so we'll pull it right out. So it sits right on top. I can hold Control Z that. With the move tool, we can hold Control, drag the ledge out just a bit. Move that over, and then this we can go ahead and add. I'm going to drag the this blur, this effects to this rectangle. Oh, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and quick effects. Outer shadow is what I was looking at. I thought that one was an outer shadow, but it was the Gaussian blur. So I'm going to add another outer shadow here. We'll up the opacity just a bit, the radius, and the offset. Pull that straight down. So that's technically the one window there. I'm going to come back up to our roof. I'm going to select all these shapes from a multiply. Nope, I'm going to have to select all these curves, set them to multiply as well. I need to drag them into the shape. Okay. Now I'm going to try with this color select. I'm going to click on opacity to bring up the noise feature. I'm going to put some noise here. Alright, maybe we'll do about 40% and see what that looks like. I feel like I want a little bit of detail in the building, like the body of the building itself, but maybe we'll go ahead and grab our vector brush. In this line I'm going to want to select multiply. I'm going to drag this into the house shape. So I just want to add some like cracks. It doesn't have to get too crazy. Just want to add a little bit of detail. And what I could do is I can select these two shapes here. I can group them. And go window. And now I can hold Alt and Shift, and I want to flip horizontal so I can keep that outside shadow a bit. Move it over just a hair more. Okay, something else I'm going to do real quick. Let's try this. Let's try to add a little yellow ellipse. behind the window. Oh, I see what I did there. Okay. Behind the window. I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to change this to soft light. I want to get to line up with the window a bit. I'm going to add a Gaussian blur to that. I kind of want I want to feel like the light is, yeah, kind of coming out of the window. Something else I could do is if I convert this to curves, I can kind of move these shapes around a bit. So, do that. And then I'm going to grab my transparency tool, and I'll drag that out. Actually, let's turn that off for a second. Let's go and grab the another ellipse. Let's put an ellipse around the whole shape. I'll drag the FX up to there to that. I'm going to set this to soft light. Now I'll convert to curves, and I'm going to drag this part up. Cool, that works. And then with the transparency tool, we can click and drag out from the middle. I'm going to select a radial. I'll just drag that out a bit. So I just want a nice subtle glow. The other thing that I could do is I can make this, I'm going to hold Control and Shift, I can make that much larger. And then that way when I'm using the transparency tool, I can pull it back a lot more. That way it doesn't get that hard line. So I'm going to Alt and Shift to the other side. Kind of give it that little bit of a, makes it kind of feel like it's glowing a little bit. Now, vector drawings like this can, you know, if you think ahead just a little bit, we're constructing and adding all the detail down here, because what we'll end up doing is we'll group all of this and we'll actually use it for the second story as well. I'm going to come here real quick, add a gradient. Change that purple, just make it a little darker. This light one here, I want to make it slightly blue. I feel like this shape I'm definitely going to want to use some noise on. But I don't want it to compete too much, so I'm going to have to see. Maybe the house would be, well, we'll take the noise off of this for right now. And what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to make some of those little fence posts. Alright, now let's see here. We want this to be above the bottom layer, but we need it behind the house. So let's kind of collect our layers and stuff here a bit. So that shape sits on top. This needs to be brought down into the house shape. Okay. So we're going to hold Alt. And I want these to be in all different kind of ways, and they're going to get a little bit bigger as they come close to us. something like that. I'll select these, Alt and Shift to the other side. We'll flip horizontal. I'll hold Shift to keep them in line. Want them to overlap the house just a hair over here, even if it's just the corner. Under the house, I want to go ahead and create this oval. We're going to select a nice lightish purple. We'll set that to multiply. This I'm going to drag into our hill shape. Oops, let's get rid of that. Move tool, hit Control. Bring it down just a hair. I'm going to add some Gaussian blur to it. And then the door, I want to make sure the door is, yep, right there. And then the road we can make with the A tool. And then what we could do is we can add a, well, what I'd like to do is I'll take it from the window. We'll duplicate that, we'll drag it outside the window. Oh, the move tool. It's gonna have like a, this will sit in front of the door. I'm gonna get my color picker tool. Oh, this dark purple there. Alright, I got a little distracted from the fence, so we'll come back to the fence. I'm going to grab this one, I'm going to hold Alt to create a new one. I'm just going to, actually, it would probably be a little bit quicker if we just go ahead and grab the pen tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit escape on that. I want it to be the same color, however. Nope. Alright, so we'll color picker this one. I'm going to select this, color picker. Okay. Pen tool. And again, I want these to be all like in different. This is an old beaten up fence. There may not even be two planks, two boards. So something really wonky like that, you know? Old, dilapidated, it's been around a while. We'll come over to the other side. Pen tool. Oop. Hit escape to end that. Definitely liking how this is coming along so far for the most part. I still feel like we need something else going on down here. I'm going to take this gradient. And sometimes when you're working on something like this in particular, I'm going to do a different... I just got to do something different here with this. You know, sometimes when you're working with... like while you're working on a drawing, there might be something that you're not super into and you're not quite sure why, and it might take some time to figure it out, but it's always worth trying some different things and seeing what you can come up with. So I feel like this right here is already a bit better. It just kind of flows with everything a little bit more. I tend to like, I don't know what's going on with my swatches. I don't know why it's building up a larger library of swatches there, but I tend to like to use similar colors throughout in order to keep that vibe the same. Gonna mess around with it a little bit. I'm gonna do that for now. I want everything to be kind of dark except for the background and the house, so I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna drag this down here. Alt and Shift to the other side. Do 50% on that. So my fences, I now have to change my fences up a bit and make them darker. So what I'm going to do is certain aspects of this, I'm going to have them just be... Well, I really don't want to use a solid black, so yeah, let's just make it a really dark purple. I'm going to group them, and actually let's see about maybe adding a gradient. Fill, nope, stroke. Okay. Certainly not. Alright, let's lighter purple, darker purple. Oh, where did they go? Alright, so let's go ahead and keep kind of messing around with this. So I'll make it a really dark purple for now. I'll probably end up coming back to it. I want to adjust this shadow under here just a bit. Transparency tool. We'll get rid of the transparency on that. opacity just a bit. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab this shape. I'm going to hold let's go ahead and group it, and we'll name it first floor. Alright, I'm going to duplicate it. I'll hold shift, I'm going to drag it straight up. Then I'm going to hold control and shift to, oh, nope, just shift, nope, just control to scale it proportionally. I'm going to pull it down and behind the first floor a bit. Pull back up a hair. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to get our door, get rid of our door and the rectangle. Alt and shift. Alright, and then I want to go ahead and name this one second floor. I'm going to duplicate second floor one more time. I'm going to drag that below. We'll name it third floor. I'm going to open the third floor up. I'm going to hold, well, to move to, I'm going to drag it up real quick. Now I'm going to open up the third floor. I don't need this top part. No, we'll hang on to it for now. We're going to come into here. I don't need this window. I don't need this window. I don't need that. I don't need that. I also don't need that. So I am going to grab both of these and drag them outside of the shape. I'm going to select the third floor shape. I'm going to hold control to squish it together there. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get rid of the cracks. Actually, we'll go ahead and leave the cracks. They're fine there. I am going to select my node tool, and I'm going to pinch the middles even more. I do want to make sure, you see how that stroke there adjusted, so I want to go ahead and scale with object. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to select my other shapes. I'll get rid of that curve, I don't need that. The window shape, I want to pull back in here. Scale with object. These cracks will move around. Alright, and that's our third floor up there. Now I'm going to come in here to our shape tools. I'm going to grab the triangle. And I'm going to create a triangle. I'm going to get rid of that. I want this nice dark purple. Actually, I want the same purple as our this bit's here. Come in here, I'll save that. Come back to our triangle. We'll adjust this gradient. I'll kind of line this up where I want it. Control and shift. squish that just a bit. Okay, convert curves. With the H, I'm going to select the middle and pull it in. Select the middle and pull it in. I'm going to select that node and this node holding Control. And then Shift, nope, Alt to select both nodes. Nope, Shift to select both nodes. Hold Shift to drag both down at the same time. There we go. Now this. I'll save to my swatch too. I'm going to come back in here to my vector brush, and I want to add some little shingle details to the roof here. Drag this up. Select multiply. Okay. All right, I'll select all of those. Multiply. Multiply. All right, we'll select these as well. I don't know how far down I went, so we'll just go ahead and there. Oh, we got a few more, about 4 more. There we go. So there you go. I like the way the house looks so far. I mean, looking at it now, something else that we could do, I think, to add a little bit more to it. If we come back down to the first floor, let's come into this curve here. Let's just see. Just create some rectangles. I want one shape there, though. I don't want. Let's do color picker. Shrink these up just a bit. They don't need to be huge. Space them out too a little bit more. Or we could just space them out like that, here and there. Now this is probably something I should have done before moving all the other ones, but here we are. Like before I duplicated this portion, because this we could have done and then it would have just duplicated it, but that's alright, because now this way each one will be a little more unique. So I could come in here and I could select all of the bricks. I'll group these bricks. I'm going to try a slight, let's just see what we do if we had a gradient. Don't know why it wouldn't just use the purple gradient. I don't like that. Let's see here. Let's try the transparency and just do. We'll take the transparency off. So we can move over to floor 2. Do want to grab at least one of the bricks, so I make sure I'm keeping them the same size. Anybody has any questions, just let me know. Okay, I'm digging the bricks. And go on to the 3rd floor. Oh, I need a brick. Okay. I'm digging it. I'm going to duplicate this quick. I want to make it just one flat color for now. And the same with this road. I want to make it, let's go ahead and get the color picker tool. Select that purple and make it a hair darker. Actually, color pick tool, make it the same color as the fence. Yeah, we're gonna go with that for now. This we might make a hair. Oh. Okay. Okay, cool. Now, let's go ahead and add this big old moon in the background. Now what I want to do, I'm going to do color picker. I want that blue. Happens we do hard light. Alright, I'm going to drag this below. Everything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some circles. We're going to create one. It's the same color. Let's multiply. Let's grab the transparency tool. Radial. So let's turn off the pixel layer real quick. So we can either create the little creators like that by creating another ellipse and setting it to multiply, and then manipulating the shape a bit with the and then the transparency tool. Another way we could do it. Second, we can select the ellipse tool. Create the shape that we want. What I'll do is I'll duplicate that shape so that way it's right on top, and I'm going to drag it to where it kind of creates that moon shape. I'm going to select both of them and I'll subtract, and then I'm left with just that little cutout, which we'll set to multiply. And then we can always lower the opacity on it. You can manipulate the shape. You can turn it. So we'll kind of do this, and we'll kind of move a few of these around. Light's coming from the center, so I want to kind of keep the shadow side pointing out towards the outside of the moon. So we want a few of them. They get a little bit smaller as you go towards the center, so I'm going to make this one just a little bit bigger. I want a nice smaller one over here. And then, oops. I have one down there a bit. I'm going to maybe have a smaller one up and over here. Get rid of that one. I'm going to keep something like that for now. Let's see what happens if we come down here and try glow. Oh, that looks cool. Alright, we're going to set that one to glow. I can come into your quick effects. I can come into outer glow and bump that radius up a bit. We can go out 300 pixels. I'm going to come in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this cogwheel. It'll give me some more options up here. I'm going to play with the layer mode here and try, yeah, soft light, hard light, overlay. I'm going to mess around with just a bit. So by duplicating that moon shape and bringing it down towards the bottom, converting to curves, kind of got myself now a lighter area. So this moon is casting a lot of light that's being blocked by the house, but some light will sneak around it. So let's see here. Let's try something quick. Yeah, actually that shadow would be casting, the house would be casting a shadow in front. It's not quite what I was hoping for there with that, so we'll leave it like that for right now. So sometimes you try things and it doesn't quite work the way you were hoping, but we'll go ahead and create some trees. Set the stroke. I'm going to come up here to stroke and I'm going to mess with the stroke weight a bit. Oh, we need the other side. Oh, I thought it was that side. All right. Nope. Let's see, make this one bigger. And then I can add the fill there as well. Oh, nope, because it's going to do that. All right, so let's see here. So we'll just use a, nope. through that. Let's try a triangle and see if that doesn't work just a bit better in getting us what we want here. Pen tool back out. Oops, back that up. Okay, so what I'll probably go ahead and do is I'm going to group this tree, name it tree, creative, I know. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this to the other side. I'm going to flip horizontal. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to move these around just a bit. I'm going to make it fatter. Move these around, that way they're going to be a little bit different than what I have on the other side. I'm going to have it kind of crossing over the house a bit. You can manipulate the shapes individually as well. Oops. Stroke on that just a bit. Okay. Now we can add a few. I'm going to grab both of these trees. I need to drag them below the fences, but on top of the hill. I need, okay, organize everything a bit here. I'm going to grab all these shapes here. I'm going to pull it into the moon. The moon will come behind everything. Still looks better on multiply. Okay, let's see here. Let's like that. I'm going to go ahead and create a few trees in the background. Actually, we do make it a little bit thicker, but I want to lower this. This will sit behind that. All right. Just a bit. Select this tree shape. Okay. Alright, we're just moving along on the tree. Trying to make them scraggly. Select all the branches. I'm going to up the stroke just a bit on them. Alright, let's see. That one. Let's see here. Okay, I actually like that tree a whole lot better than the first tree we did, so let's see where we ended up with this. Let's see here. Don't want any of those. So I want to get all of these. So that might be it. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to group these. I'm going to name it background tree. Then everything else. And that's, I'm going to get rid of that. Alright, so background tree. I am going to duplicate, flip, get a bit bigger here in the background. And what I'm going to do is with these two background trees, I'm going to change the color, make them a little bit lighter. I'm going to duplicate them, drag them down towards the bottom. This one I want over here. I'm going to make super small. You can always flip them so that way it interacts, kind of crosses over this tree a bit, just like that. This one I'm going to bring over here. Make it way smaller. And these bottom two, I want to make them a little bit lighter. I want to lower the opacity on them to about 75. These two background trees, I'll lower the opacity to about 80, well, it's 86, 85, 86, something like that. So they kind of fade off in the background a little bit. I can duplicate this one again, flip it, make them smaller, throw them even further in the background here. I could do the same on this side, even smaller. Flip back the other way. And then these two I'll drag down to the very bottom. And just say maybe 70% there. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. We're just kind of about there on this so far. We won't have too much more. And it's really up to you. You know, you can push it further than this. You can add more elements. You can you know, try different things, whatever you might want to, different colors and such. Hey, Money Moves, Algo. Cool, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Lighter shade near the house and darker trees outside. Yeah, I'd kind of thought about that. Like, I've got this bit here, and I thought it looked pretty good, but oops. Where did it go? Here. But if we make that like the soft light, it was kind of like some of the light kind of coming around the house. So we might actually keep that because that looks, I like the look of that. So we do something a little bit like that. Now the only other element that I really want to add, let's try adding some noise to this. Just about 25%, a little less than what we have on the house, but just something to give it a little bit of texture. Now, one thing that I do want to go ahead and add, I want to add some bats. Now, the classic like V to make birds and whatnot. Let me stroke. So, I mean, something like that would work for bats, you know what I mean? But I want to take this idea and just kind of like expand on it a bit and just kind of make them like some sharper edges if I can. do it this way. Escape. Alright, so I can kind of grab a few of these and start kind of duplicating them a bit. Make them a little bit smaller. Slip horizontal for, well, no, let's put it back out of the way. So I just want to add some bats. I'm going to have them kind of coming up this way and going off to the right here. So I do want some smaller ones for back here. So something like that. Oops, Control do that. We're just going to move this guy around a little bit. And we don't want to be in a perfectly straight line. We want to kind of break them out here or there just a bit. Hey, appreciate that, Money Moves. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, what my plan for the bats are, they are a dark purple, so I've got them essentially the same color as the trees and some of my other dark purple elements in the illustration so far. And what I'm planning on doing is once I've got them set in here, I'm going to add a little bit of transparency to them, which I think will give them the effect you're kind of going for there by adding the gradient color and noise. And noise tends to work. I mean, you can use it on anything, but it tends to work better on larger areas, so you can see a little bit more of that fine grit. But it's something we could give a shot and see how it looks for sure. Let's grab this guy. There. This guy here. Oopsie. We can always lock that layer. I typically lock the main background layer or certain elements that I'm not trying to move around a whole lot all the time. So like I don't want the moon to move, so we can lock all that stuff down. Let's take a quick step back and see where we're at here. All right, almost. I want a few more. Really want them to kind of like they really like. There's a bunch of them. They're all flying off screen. Yeah, exactly. Money Moves. Kind of like the lights kind of wrapping around him and is fading him out just a bit. Yep, for sure. Oh, you know what? Let's grab some of this. Let's grab this guy. Let's do it this way. I don't want that one in there. All right, yeah, that works. I don't want to add too many. I'm going to go with something like this for now. So I'm going to grab all of these. I'll group them. I'll name this layer bats. Oh yeah, I like that idea, Money Moose. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll try that one as well. Because I know what you're saying. I've done that for like different glow effects and it works really well. So yeah, let's go ahead and what we'll do. I'm going to add the transparency first. Actually, I'll duplicate the layer and we'll turn that one off. So this one I'm going to add the transparency. I missed 2 bats. Where did those 2 bats go? Oh, they were down here. Okay, so the only problem with the transparency is I don't want like that one bat here overlapping that. I don't want to get too caught up with just this as I'm getting too caught up with it. Alright, so what we'll go ahead and do now is we'll get rid of that layer already duplicated. I'll duplicate this layer again. I'll come to transparency. I'll turn the transparency off. Let's select all the bats in here. Make them white. Turn off this other bat layer. I'm going to duplicate that layer. And then we're going to blur the layer like you were saying, Money Moves. Let's give this a shot. Yeah, it is cool because it gives them that glowy effect, which is always really neat. You lose them here in the moon and whatnot a bit, but it is cool. It's the white. Those are both the white there. So that is a pretty neat effect. What actually we might do when we go to assign our name, I might use that effect for the name. I might stick with the darker bats. So let's, another thing is too, let's try like with this, I'm going to duplicate Alt Shift, I'm going to flip it. I don't know if we need more bats. I'm not sure we need more bats. So one last thing, I think I'm gonna, let's mess around with, I'm not sure it needs it, but let's just mess around with some clouds quick and see. These shapes together, bring it up here. Nope, that's not what I want. I want a light blue. I don't want any noise on it. Add soft light back there. I'm going to try something quick. I want to add alright, no, it'll blow out all that detail if I add that back there. Alright, so for this one here, I don't really want it behind the moon then like that. I don't like that. So we're going to just keep some clouds to the outside. Put some over here. Something like that. I do want some clouds a little bit further in the background, but I want them to really start getting smaller and thinner. Alright, now I'm going to select all of my cloud shapes. I'm going to group them, and then I'm going to select the transparency tool, and we'll go down from the top to our bottom here. Yeah, right. Money Moves kind of finishes it off there, adds a little bit of extra depth. So I am happy with that. That is kind of what having the bats off on the right side of the image. I felt like I needed something on the left. Now the only thing I might do real quick, we'll name this clouds. So what I'll be doing is with this illustration here, I will be uploading the full color palette to my Patreon page. I'll be uploading the final image, high resolution as well, that you'll be able to have for yourself if you're subscribed to that tier. And then I will be also uploading the working file. So you'll get this actual Affinity design file with all the folders and layers and everything, so you can come in and click around in it. And move things around, try some things out for yourself using this same file. So that'll work. Where we had it worked. All right, cool. So I think the last thing we're going to do, let's see about maybe just try radial gradient quick. I guess we'll just go ahead and go back to, I meant no gradient, I don't want no color. Alright, we'll go back with that dark color there. Okay, so I think the last thing we're going to go ahead and do, we're going to add our signature. So I'm going to come over here and grab the text tool. I'm going to type out my name. I'm going to come up here and choose the font that I like. And double click on that one, hold Alt and adjust the kerning on it, the spacing between the letters, and just bump that out a bit. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that same effect that you were talking about earlier, Money Moves. We're going to go ahead, we'll make this white. I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm actually going to grab that FX that I used for the bath. I'll drag it up to the top one there, which you could blur out the top or the bottom to get that glow effect. So whether this was on the bottom or not, it looks totally the same. So you blur it the top or the bottom and you get that cool little glow effect. Because then we can even change the, if this one's on top, we can change, oops, not in it, on top of it, we could change this color to that blue. Like a brighter blue like that, and then the white around it really gives it that glow effect, right? Let's just see what happens too if we click on glow. Yeah, it adds some extra, but a little too much. We don't need it to compete with anything. Something like that works, I think. But yeah, so this is our little haunted house for Halloween. Super cool, Money Moves. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Appreciate you being in chat and watching. That's super cool of you, man. Be sure, if you haven't already, give me subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing more of these. I'll also be doing new vector landscape tutorials and a bunch of other live streams. So if you have any questions or if you need help with anything in particular, you're working on a project, let me know. Or if you'd like to see something about the program in particular or style of art, I'd love to hear it as well. Lighten or color dodge? What on the signature? I really like messing around the layer options and stuff here. You can get some really cool effects. So let's see, lighten. Okay, nothing too drastic. And then color dodge. Okay, I guess color dodge, since the bottom one is white. I don't know, color dodge is just making it white again. So let's see here, we had normal with the light blue, which is nice, and then lighten. Lighten works as well. Lighten, lighter color, screen. Overlay is a cool effect. If you look at overlay. Overlay is a cool effect too. But the signature gets a little hard to read with overlay. All right. Cool, cool, cool. But yeah, so that's our haunted house. I'm really glad I was able to come back on. I know we did the jack-o'-lantern the other day, but I still felt like we need a little more Halloween. So here we are with the haunted house. Another vector landscape tutorial. But these can be a lot of fun to do. Any sort of landscape and vector is pretty neat. And again, vector is really interesting with how you have to layer the shapes and the effects and all, just to get the right look. But yeah, so this again will be up on my Patreon page. I'll be uploading the full color palette, so you have all the colors that are used in this. I'll upload the working file as well, so you'll be able to actually dig around in the layers and see how I layered everything and structured it. And then I'll have the high resolution uploaded as well. So go ahead and check that out on Patreon. We can do live calls. They're basically growing community. Hey, Money Moves, I'm not quite sure what you mean by live calls. I try to do these live streams to reach more people as well, outside of just uploading videos. Now, I do have a series of videos that I do need to get cracking on. That way I can upload those. But I've just been enjoying the live streams quite a bit, and it makes it all the better when people hop in here and chat like you are right now, Money Moves. That's why I really appreciate it. It's fun to kind of go back and forth, and I really appreciate your suggestions as well, being able to try them out on the image. It's fun, and that's what I'm trying to do with the channel in general is build a community where we can support each other as artists. And it doesn't even have to be vector art. I do plan on doing other videos that are, more traditional digital type artwork that's not on, that's not vector. Oh, Discord. Yeah, okay, okay. I do have a Discord. I'm not sure I have a link on YouTube. If not, I'll work on getting that up there. I am trying to build. Actually, if you join me on Discord, each tier in the Discord brings you into my Discord. You get the Discord invite as well. But if not, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Money moves. I'm going to open up my Discord right now, and I'm going to share my Discord link in chat. That way, if you'd like to hop on the Discord. And yeah, actually go ahead and do that, and then maybe we can chat on Discord a bit, talk a little bit more about those live calls, because I've got some questions about Discord, so maybe you have some answers if you're on there quite a bit. But give me just a second to pull that up, and I'll go ahead and post that link here in chat. But yeah, so I have a Discord too, so I mean, that's like, what I'm trying to do is build a community where we can all support each other in creating art and learning art, so we can kind of push each other further. I've been doing this for about, almost 20 years, a little over 15 or so, so we're closing around 20 years, and the goal really is to share my experiences and some of my failures as well. That way, maybe those are things that you all can avoid on your art journey. Kind of learn from my mistakes. So let's see where we are at with Discord. Come on, Discord, where are you? I had an update, so here it comes. But yeah, I would like to use Discord as like a central hub for things, where we can chat, hang out. I'll look into the live calls like you mentioned and see what that's maybe about. I had an update, so here. But yeah, I would like to use Discord as like a central hub for things, where we can chat, hang out. I'll look into the live calls like you mentioned and see what that's maybe about. I had an update, so here. All right, I was getting some weird feedback there for a second. So I'm back. All right, here is the Discord link. So you can go ahead, click on that link, join me on Discord, Money Moves. I want to chat with you a little bit. You can send me a message on there. I'd like to pick your brain a little bit about Discord and find out a little bit more about what you do. If you have a channel here on YouTube and such too, I'd like you to share that in the Discord. That way we can follow you, and we can all continue to support each other. But yeah, so Discord, awesome. Money Moves, awesome, cool, man. I'm looking forward to chatting with you on there. So yeah, so we got Discord. We'll get that cranking. Patreon and other ways to support the channel. Super thanks on the video or donating through the Buy Me a Coffee link. My YouTube banner. For anybody watching the video after the fact, that always helps out a ton. Helps me continue to bring new videos and live streaming to you. And as always, I'd love to hear more about what you want or might be looking for out of the channel. Different things you may want to either cover, discuss, or any questions or project-related things. I absolutely love that. I've had numerous people reach out to me with questions regarding work that they were doing in Affinity Designer. And asking for advice or tips and tricks and stuff like that. So I'm always happy to help. But again, thank you all for being here today and stopping in and watching Money Moves. Thanks for joining, man. I really appreciate it. I had an awesome time. I hope you enjoyed yourselves as well. Have a great rest of the day and a fantastic week. And a very happy Halloween to you all. Thank you all so much for joining. I will see you next time. Later on, guys.